everybody, this is Jeannie from aplaceformycards.blogspot.com. I'm about to show you a still picture of this card before I make it, where you can see what it looks like, and then I'm going to tell you all about it. Okay, I'm back. Here's the tools we're going to use. You need a tape gun, some 3D dots of some kind. I use Dots 3D dots. I use quilling glue for the little pieces, and I use these nice little tweezers to hold the pieces for gluing and for inking the little pieces. This time on this card I use this white acrylic paint and this really fine tip paintbrush. I used this black fine tip marker. I used black ink on this card. It's a water-based ink, and I used a wedgie makeup sponge to apply the ink. You can check out some of my other videos. It'll show you how to apply the ink. On this card I didn't do it. I'm not going to have time today. I used a green cardstock and this black cardstock, and I used My Mind's Eye Summer Song paper. And I'm going to explain this card to you. There was a lot to this card. This card, I will tell you, really intimidated me to no end. And I haven't made a card all week because I've had this card in my Gypsy, and it just took me forever to put it together. So, one of the things I put together on this card is the word monsters. I used the phrase shadow, the phrase itself, and then the layer of that. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Oh, I'll go ahead and show you what I did there. Also, in this, everything comes from Mini Monsters except for the word our, which comes from Gypsy Font. See, here's the phrase shadow, and I welded the monster shadows to that. And then this is what the phrase looks like with the shadow of our welded. And this is what it looks like with the hour put on top, and then the phrase layer of monsters put on top of that. I used the extra arms from the monster on the next page. See this little monster right here? He has these little extra arms and these little and he has these little horns. So I cut out extra arms and extra horns to just enhance where these little arms and these little horns are on this cut. The next thing I did is I cut out this little monster right here, and he's got a shadow which I welded to the phrase shadow. He has his regular cut, his face and belly, and then this is his belly and his horns, and then he has two layers to his mouth and eyes. And here he is. I went ahead and put him together because he was complicated and tiny. So in the orange is his regular cut, and then the lighter orange is his body and face cut, and then right here in the stripes is his horns and his belly. His smile was two different layers, a black layer and a white layer, but on his eyes, since he was so small, I used the white paint and the black marker for his eyes. Show you about the other monster. These monsters, I think, are the third and fourth monsters on the first row. Okay, they're on page 31 and 30. And this little monster, I used his shadow, which is welded to the shadow. I used his layer cuts were the bottom of his mouth and his arms, and then here is his teeth. Yeah, that's his little fangs. And this was it. Oh no, that is not his little fangs. That's his horns and his nose. I did not use his nose, but I used his horns. That's his eye and fangs layers, and I did not use those because he was so small and you just couldn't. And here he is. The regular, there's the shadow cut that was welded to monsters. Here's the regular cut, and then his arms and his mouth cut, and his little horn cut, and then I used the white paint and the little paintbrush to paint on his eyes and his horns, and then I used a black marker to put the little dots in his eyes. Okay, that's how all that is put together. On the inside, I wanted it to remind my husband of when the kids were little. So I just drew on the inside, wanting to make it look like children had done it. Love you, how special is that? So it'll say, our monsters, love you, how special is that? Happy Father's Day. I'm going to layer this up in just a second. While I'm gone, I'm going to show you several little close-up screenshots where you can see how I laid everything out on my gypsy. Okay, I'm back, and here's what I did while I was gone. I went ahead and added this, the monster cut with the hour welded to it. I had 2 of those. I went ahead and added it to the shadow piece that has the little monsters on it, and I added some pop dots, and I added the shadow piece with the monsters on it flat to this card, and I'm going to pop this up right on top of there, like that. And then this monster cut with the layer monster and the layer of hours and the little arms added and the little horns added. I put pop dots on the back of it, and I'm going to pop dot this right here. I believe, and there we go. I believe that if you are going to put together these monsters, this is the first time I put them together, and then I just let them overwhelm me all week. But if you're going to put these little monsters together, I'd cut them out big, like cut 2 or 3 of them out really big in all their layers, where you can get a feeling of how they're going to be put together when they're smaller, and just get it in your mind better. But this is what the card looks like. Here's the, trying to show you the depth of the card. So it says, our monsters, love you, how special is that? Happy Father's Day. I've got all the cut sizes on my blog of the size of everything, and I'll have still pictures on my blog. There should be complete written instructions. Also, you can get the gypsy file on my blog if there's instructions on how to get the gypsy file on my blog. www.aplaceformycards.blogspot.com. I really appreciate y'all stopping by today. I'm sorry that I couldn't show you in more detail about putting this together. There was just so much to put together that I was afraid I'd run out of time. But I really hope that I was helpful in showing y'all how to put these little, telling y'all how to put these little monsters together. I hope you have a blessed day and a wonderful weekend, and come back and see me.